Hey, it's PokeDad. Welcome back to another video. Now, I usually stick exclusively to Pokemon content, but today I want to talk about my other great love. No, it's not Pokemon, not this time at least. It's Mario Kart. I've been playing this series longer than Pokemon, and it's the perfect party game for beginners and experts alike. Hell, even Pokemon joins in, albeit using Steer Assist, playing as Cat Peach and insisting that Excite Bike Arena is the best course. But anyway, to celebrate the release of Wave 6 and with it the final 8 tracks of the Booster Course Pass, I'm going to rank all 96 tracks in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. No one's done that before, right? Oh. Yep, it's an unoriginal opinion video. Just you wait for the hot takes coming your way. I base these rankings primarily on how fun I find each course, but also how creative they are and how visually pleasing they are to look at. Being entirely subjective, my opinion may be very different from yours, and that's okay. If we all agreed, the world would be boring. But make sure to respect my opinion, and I'll respect yours. That said, if you think I've been too harsh on your favourite course or too nice on a track that sucks, tell me in the comments. While you're at it, subscribe. Please, I have nothing else going on in my life. All the footage for this video was recorded on 150cc cups. I set a rule that I could race each course just once with a random character and kart combination. Of the 96 races, I finished first 95 times, showing what 9.5 years of practice in a pretty easy Mario Kart installment can do. But PokeDad, where did you finish in the 96th race? I don't want to talk about it. You'll see. Anyway, let's get started ranking all 96 courses in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe from worst to best. At 96, the worst course in Mario Kart 8 is 3DS Toad Circuit, and that's a surprise to exactly no one. Toad Circuit is an inoffensive track, it's pretty vanilla, well, not quite that vanilla. There are only a few turns, one ramp that doesn't do much, and a large inflatable toad. So, unless you're into inflatable toads, you're probably going to get bored pretty quick. Geez, what's with Toad and crap tracks? The original Toad's Turnpike was basic but fast-paced and dangerous. The remake is more leisurely, like a Sunday drive with your grandma at the wheel. Anti-gravity on the walls is pointless, it's far quicker to weave between the cars. And to be honest, the best part is flying over the bridge if you hit the ramp truck at the right time. 94, Sunset Wilds. Oh, how the mighty fall, and sometimes only on aesthetics. In the original, the sun set as the race carried on, but not this time, just a never-ending sunset. It might be harsh, but with a basic course structure, atmosphere plays a big role. If only it had a better glow-up. This one was really disappointing. SNES tracks always face an uphill battle to compete, and Mario Circuit 3 falls short. It's a classic for sure, but staying true to 2D tracks, this one has no change in elevation and just a basic set of turns. Like, it's fine, but nothing more. Being the one to choose this course online is only excused on a misclick. And here we are with our first city track. There's gonna be plenty more, and soon. While it's cool to race around London Loop, past famous landmarks like Big Ben and the London Eye, it just doesn't have the charm of a Mario Kart course. Like most tour tracks, it feels built for mobile, not console. But you gotta love the chain jumps. Ice Ice Outpost is next, and it's pretty much the definition of mediocre. Race around adjacent tracks of yellow or green, maybe drop down to the ice path, and then land one easy shortcut at the end, resembling the leaf cut at the end of Cloud Top Cruise. Unless your luck takes a turn, and you get pulled back to the pack off rotten item luck, and even though you land a mushroom that could catapult you to first, despite everything, you instead cop an unexpected green shell and finish in 10th. Don't even talk to me. Anyway, my recency bias aside, this course is just uninspiring. So much that it's bottom 6. Speaking of uninspired, Water Park, a map that's entirely waterlogged. Great. But a course based on a water theme park could have been amazing. Case in point, the slides on Big Blue. Sadly, the slow-moving teacups and Ferris wheel sum up Water Park. Boring. It might be controversial to have New York Minute as the second lowest city track, but it's just not very fun, and it's surprising because it's a really vibrant course to look at, aside from the sequences through Central Park, which are dull. Sadly, this one doesn't make me want to go to New York. Japan might be home to my favourite franchises, but Tokyo Blur doesn't do the city justice. Now, sure, there are elements of this track that are entertaining, but this course really just feels like you're driving around a road, with next to no Mario Kart whimsy. Oh, hey Thwomp. Sadly, Tokyo Blur is underwhelming. But, you know where you can be whelmed? In Europe! And Amsterdam Drift is a pleasant enough drive through tulip fields and second-rate windmills. Daisy Hill's far and away the better windmill course. But for a city track, it's more varied than the previous few, and aesthetically, it's a step up. Oh surprise, another city. I went on exchange to Paris. Oui, je suis un garçon chic. But the love I have for Paris doesn't stretch to this course. As the first track in the booster pass, it felt pretty refreshing the first time around, despite visual issues, with changing layouts each lap and racing past oncoming karts in lap 3. But every time since, this track has just felt slow. You know, like the developers copied the French and went on strike. Next, another one. 5 cities in a row. Madrid Drive has a great soundtrack and visually, it's fine. There are a couple of dull stretches, but this track is saved from being even lower by the soccer section. Yes, soccer, not football. That was a fun surprise. And it was a surprise because I played Tour for all of 5 minutes on release before ditching its janky ass controls, like everyone else. From dull cities to dull deserts, Dry Desert is, well, dry. Dodging the pokies and avoiding the quicksand offers some interest, but this track really feeds the poor reputation of desert courses. Like, come on, they don't all have to be bad. The newest Mario circuit, lol, new, it's as old as a 4th grader now, well, it's fine. A great visual way to show off anti-gravity, but let's be serious. This track is exciting nobody after the first lap. Although, it does have a Goomba tower, which is always a plus. Speaking of varied, Los Angeles lap slips into 82nd. From the beach to oil fields? It's definitely a journey, and showcases some of the potential city tracks have. It gives vibes of Excite Bike Arena with early jumps and the hammers of Twisted Mansion towards the end. Can't say I love it, but it's one of only 3 cities on Deluxe that I've been to. At 81, it's Rome Avanti, and I think I may be biased here. I've never been to Rome, but it's my wife's favourite city in the world, and seeing her excitement made me happy. Yes, even I, a proven cynical bastard, can feel adjacent joy. That said, it's a lackluster track, pretty mid among the city tracks. Flying over the Trevi Fountain is neat, complete with fuzzies, and the chain chomps of the Colosseum are fantastic. Continuing on, we're just tearing through the cities. Bangkok Rush has a lot more variety than the others, from skipping across boats to bouncing off umbrellas and an indoor wraparound ramp. This course has it all. Not really. It has some things and they're, well, okay. This could be my first real hot take, but I have never had fun on Neo Bowser City. If you like it, power to you, but the insanely slippery track and strange Bowser aesthetic just don't call out to me personally. There are enjoyable corners throughout, not this one, but I can't put it any higher. Donut Plains 3 is rather plain, but shows the care taken to bring a 2D course to life in 3D. Bumpy roads, an unnecessary water section, but one that nods to the perils of falling in the water on SNES. Not an inspiring course by any stretch, but it's vibrant to look at, and I like that. Ice and snow tracks always start at a disadvantage, because they're just so goddamn slippery. But GameCube Sherbetland is still a fun time. There are split paths, one on the surface with skating Shy Guys, and one beneath, which I've never really needed to take, to be honest. This one's okay. 2 in a row for ice, and I might be biased in favour of this course, only slightly, it's still pretty low. I love Galaxy and Galaxy 2, so naturally eat up references to the Comet Observatory and Gateway Galaxy. Simply naming this course after Rosalina, the one-eyed maiden from the sky, is almost enough by itself. But seriously, Rosa, Do you have a second eye? Or is there a tragic backstory here? And now the ice melts into Cheap Cheap Beach. I've never really known what to think about this one. The changing surface from boardwalk to water to sand is fun, but it doesn't feel like it has a defined track. That's not really a problem, but it almost feels pasted together rather than being a coherent race. 74, we're back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Bad joke. Mario Kart Stadium is a pretty good opening course, showcasing the anti-gravity feature. Sure, it's ranked low here because it's basic, but there is a certain amount of beauty in its simplicity. Care for a relaxing kart ride along the coast? Well, Shroom Ridge is for you. It may have slow traffic, but unlike Toad's Turnpike, that's fine, because all the tight bends make this track far more challenging. It's certainly not among the spectacular tracks, but one that's by no means a chore to race. 72, Riverside Park got the visual glow-up it deserved, and that keeps it out of this list's bottom quarter. Just. You'll have to dodge the roaming patuis along the way to get the win on this course, and being able to trick on this course really is a great change. Even still, I personally would have preferred Lakeside Park instead. By now, we are well and truly into courses that are good, solid tracks, and Daisy Circuit is no exception. Tight twists and turns, plus a beautiful statue of Daisy dancing with Luigi, all with her signature orange colour tone. It's nice. Berlin Byways cracks the top 70 and finishes 5th among the city tracks off tour. You might think it's made it this high for its music alone. Yes, it's got a banger soundtrack, god tier, but the thought going into this one is really fun. Womps springing out of the Berlin Wall to squish you. I never knew I needed that, and I love it. 69, Excite Bike Arena. I'm not a hater for this course, but nor do I think it's majorly underrated. The variability of the mud patches and the jumps are neat, but you rely too much on items if you fall back from the lead because there are just so few turns. That said, it's still a fun race and my wife's favourite in the game. 68, Sky High Sunday. Have I put it too high? Maybe, but I think my reasoning is sound. It's super fun, visually bold, and stacked with jumps and anti-gravity boosts. But it was made for tour, and on console it feels suboptimal. There's just too much hang time in the air to correct every single jump, while visibility of what's up next is often lacking. Don't get me wrong, it's more than fine, but these points, as well as some strange cornering, keeps this at the lower end. It's been redone a few times now, but Peach Gardens feels like it's getting worse, not better. What a great idea for a track, second only to actually racing through her castle, but the gardens lack pace and excitement. The final lap is now backwards, that's a nice touch, but I'd love a few more upgrades here. GBA Mario Circuit was a retro track from the original Mario Kart 8, and it perfectly showcased how a 2D circuit can be made exciting in 3D. The Ultra Hand callback is hilarious, and the anti-gravity hairpin bend is the best part of the race. Not quite enough to lift this one any higher. I wanted this track to go further, I really did, if only for the chaos. Baby Park is a beautiful, frustrating, amazing, rage-inducing frenzy, which, to be honest, removes a whole chunk of skill and replaces it with luck. That's not to say there's no skill here, far from it, but you may just find that you get beat by the CPU more often than you expect. I adore the chaos and the unpredictability of Baby Park, and the permanently tilted anti-gravity loop through 7 laps is always a good time. One of the first crossover races, Hyrule Circuit lands at number 64. I would probably like this course more if I played Zelda, but without that loyalty, to me, this one is just a themed track with standard Mario Kart 8 features. Yes, it has Deku Barbars, rupees instead of coins, and a jump featuring the Master Sword, but for me, not overly inspiring. Did you know that Yoshi Circuit is shaped like a God damn it, yes I do? And in my opinion, it's a solid course that's had just a bit too much love. It has great corners, and it's a tougher track to master than others, but for me, not one I would actively choose to race. Rainbow Road is a staple Mario Kart course. It's the reward for reaching the end of the game, and the tracks are often inspiring. Not so for the Mario Kart 8 installment. It has elements of greatness, but the muted rainbow colouring lacks vibrancy, and the space station theme is only okay. It is fun to skip sections of the track by flying between the different paths, but that doesn't save this from being the worst Rainbow Road so far. Without doubt, Dolphin Shoals has some of the best music in Mario Kart history. The jazzy theme fits the scene and the underwater version is superb. But the track can only be carried so far by good music. I like jumping over the eel, but the rest of the course feels kind of patched together. My man Wario is such a wacky character, and his stadium from DS really captures this. Lots of speed boosts and jumps through fire chains, all linked by a vertical metal platform complete with anti-gravity, another solid Wario-themed course. Wait, what do you mean you can't drive up to Peach's castle? The worst! Well, that's enough to drop Royal Raceway down to 59. It successfully captures the Peach theme, and although I'm disappointed we've lost the bunny hop potential from the big jump, the glider section is a good compromise. I used to hate spooky tracks. Things like Banshee Boardwalk never really did much for me. But I find something about Boo Lake charming. Maybe it's the crossover between a scary mansion theme and how terrifying being underwater can become. This one is a solid track, helped by a cheeky shortcut similar to the end of Piranha Plant Slide. Where Sky High Sundae felt disjointed, Sweet Sweet Canyon captures the food theme far more successfully. Cakes, ice cream, cookies, gingerbread toads, a donut shortcut, and a drive-through soda. That sugar content would destroy all the carts. This is a fun track, and a great entry in the Mushroom Cup, which all too often features only the most basic tracks. Speaking of basic tracks, DS Mario Circuit. Well, it's actually rare among the circuit tracks, which are typically underwhelming. But there's something about this one that makes it stand out. Possibly the actually threatening fireball piranha plants. Maybe it's just the Wiggler. Always a nice addition. Okay, please don't kill me. DK Mountain is only okay. There, I've said it, I'm sorry. At the start, it's one brief turn, then a cannon. After that, a few bends down a wide, angry mountain, a few more with the option for a shortcut, and finally bouncing on a bridge. Yes, I know, I've oversimplified it, and I could do that for every course. But this track just doesn't hit me, because it does a lot of things okay, but nothing brilliantly. And I have to say, overly wide tracks just don't excite me. At 54, Animal Crossing is kind of the same. A good track that doesn't spark joy. It gets the edge over DK Mountain only because of its seasonal differences, which make this a visually beautiful circuit, depending on the season. Previous icy tracks haven't done well here, but there's something different about Snowland. Maybe it's the super satisfying shortcut, which I didn't have a mushroom for in the Grand Prix. Or maybe it's because the track is finally fun now that the screen doesn't shake constantly like you're having a cold-induced fit like in the original on Super Circuit. Okay, apparently I'm not into DK tracks, or at least those where you descend a mountain. This is another fan favourite and I remember loving it on the Wii, but I personally feel its reputation is a bit overstated. Like, half-pipes are cool and fit the aesthetic, but I never really want to use them. Also, there's a better snow mountain track in this game already. At 51, it's Cheeseland, but where are the mice? Absent cute rodents aside, this track is unique for driving along pasteurised dairy, bouncing off cheese holes, and avoiding chain chomps who are sadly being deprived of crackers for their cheese. But don't even get me started on hoarding mushrooms to finish this one in style. The top 50 starts with Sydney Sprint. Not gonna lie, I'm sad that it's Sydney and not my beloved Melbourne, but I'll concede the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge are better known internationally. Not to mention, Sydney's poor urban planning and crap roads make it ideal for a twisty track. My bitterness aside, this is a fun course made even better by great music. I don't think I was a good enough gamer when we were first gifted Wario's Goldmine. It was a tough course on the Wii and on replay for me, an amazing time. Sadly, the remake doesn't quite hit the same level. The difficulty is scaled back massively, with protection from the minecarts and anti-gravity really nerfs the mine track entirely. Don't get me wrong, it's still good. Every track has been good since like number 75. Just would have been better if it stayed deathly dangerous. Sneaking into the top half, the OG Rainbow Road from SNES. The visuals are great, the music pleasantly climactic, perhaps a little bit muted, but this road shows that sometimes simplicity is good. And thankfully, the difficulty on this version versus the original on SNES is much kinder. The bronze medal among city tracks goes to Vancouver Velocity. I may be a bit biased here, I love hockey and support Vancouver, so driving through Rogers Arena is a dream. I love the variety of this course, and although it could have gone a little lower, I have no regrets for bumping it up. I would probably choose Vancouver over Athens, but I can't deny that I like Athens Dash better. The onslaught of jumps all around the Acropolis and the Parthenon perfectly immerse you in the Greek setting, and the steps up to the finish line make for a fun ending. Sky Garden was a popular track on the GBA, but I've heard a lot of people found this remake disappointing. Sure, it could have been cleaner, but there's no denying that any version of Sky Garden will slap. It doesn't quite reach the heights of another atmospheric course, but mushroom trampolines and background paratroopers bring this one to life. Have you ever wanted to drive on a boat? No? Me neither. But why not try Daisy Cruiser anyway? It's utter chaos and dangerous for the Shy Guys, Yoshis and Toads in the dining room. Unlike the original, there's an option to drive underwater, but it's probably quicker not to. I reckon some might rank this one higher, but I can honestly say I'd choose anything placed above this more often in versus races. At 43, I've always had a soft spot for Twisted Mansion. Maybe it's the library shortcut, maybe the mad, rollicking theme that vibes like the Addams Family. Twisted Mansion is an extremely satisfying course to master. Great turns to build turbo boosts, and finding the quickest path through the split track is great fun. Did we really need another mansion after Luigi's? Maybe not, but love it or hate it, you can't deny that Twisted Mansion really immerses you in its haunted theme. It might be more of a scenic tour than a racetrack, but Rock Mountain is a vibe. It's not a complicated track in terms of layout, but it's one that emphasizes gliding. And it's unique there, where others like Mario Kart Stadium and Water Park emphasize anti-gravity or underwater. I mean, you could feasibly glide for more than half a lap if you play it right, and that can be very satisfying. 41. Why does everyone hate Bone Dry Dunes? Sure, the layout in the skeleton section can be tight, particularly on 200cc, but it is so satisfying to land the long turbo into the anti-gravity section before gliding to the cave. Now, this could really be an unpopular opinion, but being honest, I was tempted to rank this one higher. I really like it. Number 40, Christmas is coming, the best time of the year for everything except for that bank balance. And even though I'm in the south where our Crimbos are rather hot, never snowy, the festive village and wintry mountain setting captivate me. Whether it's driving along the train track, chasing a sleigh-pulling train, or simply enjoying the scenery, Merry Mountain is a delight. 39. Piranha Plant Cove was a neat addition to the final booster wave. It reminds me of Wario's Galleon. I think it's called Shipyard in the US version. Anyway, the underwater city is reminiscent of the fabled Atlantis, and the varied layout shows Water Park what a true water-themed course could be. This one may very well be a new classic. Cooper Cape is another track whose original is far superior. Gone are the Cooper Zappers. Instead, we have a basic tunnel and a glide section that feels a bit out of place. Don't get me wrong, any Cooper Cape is better than no Cooper Cape, but sticking closer to the original would have been far better. At number 37, for me, one of the first courses that comes to mind when someone says Mario Kart 8 has to be Sunshine Airport. On a visual level, this course is near perfect. It hits the vibe of an airport dead on, except for the anti-gravity suspension platform, which, if anything, is a hazard for aircraft. But sadly, the course is pretty short and it doesn't feel as good to race on as it looks. Finally, a good Toad track, and the harbour is gorgeous. A seaside market town complete with trams, I believe Americans say trolleys, and also a Peach Statue of Liberty. Should have added this to New York Minute too, just saying. Toad Harbour has a pretty simple layout and another anti-gravity wall track that has very little use. He still hasn't learned from the turnpike, but it's a charming, relaxed track, albeit with a frantic pace. At 35, talk about glow-ups, Choco Mountain from the N64 went from a boring-ass course with not enough chocolate to a raucously fun one with a glittering cave, tweaked layout, and an update of that classic, chaotic song, which I can't resist whistling to. Now this is a city track. Moonview Highway is danger. cars and bombs driving towards you, and although I wish they drove a bit more quickly, this retro track from the Wii shows what all road courses should be. Death on wheels, and nothing less. If I could change just one thing, adding some extra twists and turns right before the end after the boost section would give better scope for skilled racers to catch up. As it is, if you fall behind and haven't caught up by the time you hit those speed boosts, you're relying on items or other racers failing to get back for the win. 33, it's Mushroom Gorge, another Wii favourite, and I'm with you here, but maybe not as big a fan as some others. It's a really short course, and I think that's to its detriment. All that said, it's a thoroughly entertaining track, and the mushroom gimmick is incorporated seamlessly. People seem to either like or love Wild Woods. There doesn't seem to be much hate for this course out there, and I can see why. It offers pretty well everything. Split paths, and you have to choose between a narrow but quicker track or a wider one with coins. There's also a river to speed you along, moving dash panels, and shortcuts requiring mushies. You name it. All that can get it to number 32, but it doesn't have that X factor to get it higher for me. At 31, edging out Wild Woods is Waluigi Stadium from Double Dash, and this one is a great stadium course. Mechanical piranha plants, fire chains, and new half pipes to elevated platforms. Now sure, my previous rankings may have showed that I don't always like half pipes, but when they're done right, they can work wonders. At number 30, the gold medal for city courses goes to Singapore Speedway. If all 14 were on par with Singapore, I'd have no complaints about the city tracks. The nighttime aesthetic is beautiful as you pass through a high-tech cannon, race through a rooftop pool, glide over a soccer pitch, yes, soccer, not football, I won't say it again, travel through Chinatown, and race over conveyor belts. This is a beautifully made track, capped with a wonderful musical theme. The Super Bell subway has grown on me over the last 8 years. It's not a complex course until you have trains, but it can be if you race along the side to avoid danger. That being said, if you're looking for the fastest path, get as close to that train as you can. I can't easily define why this one should be in the top 30, it just has a Mario Kart quality about it. At number 28, another N64 glow-up, Calamari Desert finally getting its due. No longer do you have to risk it all by attempting to outpace a train, this time you just have to dodge it in a tunnel. This is a version that I am so glad was influenced by Tour, because the changing layouts of each lap give the plain elements of the original track the boot, replaced by modern Mario Kart madness. 27, the original track with lap variation, it's Grumble Volcano. I can't say I like this course, I don't particularly. It's kind of mid for me on enjoyment, but is it really a course to be enjoyed, or one to simply be appreciated for its challenge? Each lap gets progressively more difficult as the track falls into the lava, work health and safety be damned. The impact of this course on later games cannot be understated. And like I said, although I'm kind of indifferent towards this track, it deserved to be this high even if the Wii version did it slightly better. Sticking with the Lightning Cup, Piranha Plant Pipeway, objectively a better name, slides into 26th. From the piranha plants themselves to pesky Goombas and blocks reminiscent of 2D Mario platformers, this is a track full of nostalgia and love for Mario games themselves. And it doesn't come without difficulty. This track has a couple of nasty 90-degree turns that will suck if you're not ready for them, and don't forget the fake shortcut. Doesn't that sound alone just give you chills? This track is nostalgia defined if you're a 90s kid, even if it's changed to a one-lap course in 3 segments. Now it's actually a pretty short course, but that said, it's more interesting this way, with guardrails removed, a wavy track at points thanks to bouncing chomps, and a coin-flinging train following your progress. Nostalgia goggles may have this a little high, but the N64 version built upon the original Rainbow Road to give these final tracks a magical feeling which has only improved since. Except with you. Into the top quarter, for me, these are the elite, the best of the best, starting with Moo Moo Meadows. Hear me out. This is my most frequently played track on Deluxe because of COVID lockdowns. My wife and I, and some friends on occasion, jokingly picked this course every time we could. Why? I don't know. There are cows, you can make them jump if you hit them with shells. The track itself is simple in layout with bovine obstacles, but can be frantic with items flying everywhere. At 23, Yoshi Valley is an amazing concept. So many paths through it, and it can be fun trying to find the fastest route. The trouble is, once you find that this is the narrow bridge, definitely not the cannon, the track loses its glow. I really hope a future variant of this course, or one that follows the multi-track idea, makes multiple paths viable, of similar if not the same length, because there is no point going anywhere but the bridge. Cool egg. What's that I hear? A musical reference to Super Mario Galaxy? Sold. It's Cloud Top Cruise at number 22, and this one has the perfect blend of variety. 3 distinct sections, a beanstalk in the clouds, an airship and a thunderstorm. It's a challenging layout with multiple ways to win. This one is an all-round good time. Twice in a row for the Special Cup, and now we have Mario Kart 8's Bowser's Castle. Now, it may not be the best installment out of them, but this track is visually breathtaking and feels like you're exploring a maniac's fiery lair. Lap variability will surprise the first time you race when lasers shoot out to catch you off guard. And don't even get me started on the glorious, if easily passed, punching fire Bowser and the annoying rolling boulder towards the end. It's an easy enough course once you get the hang of it, but this course lives up to the challenge of Bowser's Castle's past. Sneaking into the top 20, DK Jungle. See, I don't hate DK at all. Originally from the 3DS, DK Jungle really hits its theme. Traverse through a jungle past tikis, frogs, screaming pillars, and a temple containing the golden banana. Breathtaking. DK Jungle hits every mark with moving obstacles keeping you on your toes and sneaky shortcuts that will become your path of choice. At number 19, Shy Guy Falls. I never liked this one much until the last year or so when I realized how much I actually looked forward to racing on it. From tight bends at the start to racing up the waterfall and gliding either back to the path or a short elevated cave, it is a visually stunning and conceptually fantastic track. Shy Guy Falls is a classic deserving a top 20 finish. I really don't know whether people like Drag and Driftway as much as I do, but who would have thunk that Gobblegut, a boss from Galaxy 2, would feature in Mario Kart, let alone be the track? When you see it, it's a perfect concept. The bendy, fluid Gobblegut makes for a tight course that will frustrate you on 200cc. If you don't like the anti-gravity feature much or prefer less bends, this one may not be for you. All that being said, no one can say that this track isn't visually breathtaking. At 17, Ribbon Road's bathroom renovation takes the household theme to a new level. Squeaky Clean Sprint has you diving into a sink, a bathtub and a drain, after which you glide over a toilet which may just be spouting out water so that you can sneak into an upper path. This track is a charming diversion and the creativity of this simple theming is a marvel to behold. I don't think many people have Thwomp Ruins quite so high, but I love it. An ancient theme implying Thwomps have a historic civilization. Fantastic. Rolling Stones opening a new glide path? Even better. Thwomps? Perfection. Ranking this one so high might be a bit weird given that I've criticised other courses for the same reasons I've praised the Ruins. But consistency be damned. Perhaps the best remake of them all is Bowser's Castle 3 from the SNES. This is just a how-to manual for converting a flat 2D course into vibrant 3D. Everything here shines, from the tricky to reach dash panels atop pillars to the 180-degree corners and reinvigorated jumps. Mario circuits, vanilla lakes, ghost valleys, all of you. Take notes. Take notes. Lol, what a segue. Music Park, yep, I agree, it's officially called Music Park. Look at the banners. That said, Melody Motorway is an objectively better name. This 3DS course is a masterpiece visually and musically. Every action you take, from driving along the keys to bouncing off a timpani, produces sound. You simply have to love this theme and enjoy the whimsical sounds. 13th, yes, it might be lower than you have it on your list, but it's still elite in my opinion. Waluigi Pinball is pretty well an icon of the Mario Kart franchise, and for good reason. It pairs a wacky character with a chaotic idea, and combine this with an unpredictably bouncing ball and you'll be on your toes every time. For me, this is a great course, no doubt, but the legend of Waluigi Pinball, in my opinion, is a bit overstated. Yes, it's phenomenal, but so are the next 12, and personally, they give the pinball machine a run for its money. If you're counting, I still have 3 Mario Kart Wii tracks on my list, but one of them lands here at 12, and it's Maple Treeway. Another one that has an almost godlike reputation, and again, it's deserved. The autumnal energy of this course is exciting. The items springing from piles of leaves keeps you guessing, and the pair of giant wigglers are a better version of Yoshi's egg from the valley. It's hard to fault this course, it really is. The only thing I can say for me is that it felt more natural on the Wii. If you told me there was going to be a track based on a level from Super Mario 64, I would have said they should do Cold Cold Mountain, Lethal Lava Land, or Womp's Fortress. And I would have been wrong. Tick-Tock Clock nails the frantic pace and quick thinking required for the N64 level. This version may have lost some of the visual ties to Super Mario 64 that you can see on the DS version, but the polish of this updated retro clock more than makes up for it. That said, I did promise my wife, who reminder uses steer assist, that this is her most hated course. At great risk to my marriage, she is wrong. Just 10 tracks to go. In which order will they end up? Let's find out. Number 10, Mute City. Keeping F-Zero alive through Mario Kart was genius. But where's the captain? Mute City is frantic anti-gravity fun. Build up your coins quickly, use the dash panels, hit the anti-grav boosts, and mini turbo to your heart's content. This on 200cc is ridiculous, glorious, fast-paced chaos. At number 9, the ultimate remake. Ribbon Road went from only okay on Game Boy Advance to possibly the best retro track before the booster pass came along. Slide your way around a kid's bedroom, decked out with Mecha Koopas and every toy you've ever dreamed of. The wavy ribbon and glide past 2 Jack-in-the-Box is a delight, and don't forget to cut through the castle if you've got a mushie. This track is phenomenal, and I can't praise it enough. Number 8, Coconut Mall. It was bound to be high, and stiff competition lands it here. The music and setting are iconic. I don't mind so much about the cars being different. They're still there, that's the main thing. It's also another one where the developers nailed the frantic pace of its theme. A busy mall. It kind of makes me not want to go shopping. And if I could not shop forever, I would not shop at Coconut Mall. Another brilliant track. It might be a little too high, but I love Ninja Hideaway. It's such a complicated course, definitely in the top 5 hardest in the game as well. Aesthetically, it's amazing. Ninja stars, wooden elevators, tight corners, and being propelled upwards into the rafters by air currents from bamboo. Brilliant. A lot of people might mark this track down, and I can see it dropping lower on my list one day too. But for now, 7th is the right place. And at 6, another original from the Booster Course Pass, Yoshi's Island. Now this is mind-blowing. How many references to Yoshi's Island can be packed into a single course? All of them, apparently. Like other themed courses, there are unique sound effects and coins, not to mention stilt guys, huff and puffins, and a winged cloud shortcut that is an actual challenge to hit. And I haven't even mentioned the layout, which covers so many environments. A track both on road and underwater, cloud tops, and if you're lucky and hit that shortcut, a magical red wooden pathway guiding you to the end. To cap it off, a Yoshi's Island banner at the finish line and Yoshi-themed music. I think I'm in love. In 5th, Electrodrome. For the record, I always read Drome. This one is without doubt a banger. The music oozes energy, the dance vibe, bass, and bright visuals liven up a reasonably simple design. But where the Drome really shines is in mastery of the split path. Choose green or pink, it doesn't matter too much, but it can be an amazing tactical decision to avoid or chase down your competition. Like all these highly ranked tracks, I can't give this one enough praise. In at number 4, Wii Rainbow Road. Yes, it's not my favourite Technicolor track, but it is still perfect in almost every way. There are multiple paths to victory, useful half-pipes, big gaps in the track to avoid or trick off, and what perfect music to accompany it. Racing here with Funky Kong at the wheel is just how Mario Kart should be. 3rd, and it makes me so sad that it couldn't be higher, yes I love it that much, Mount Wario. Do you see a trend? I love point-to-point races, and this was the original great on Wii U. Down the icy slopes, through the dam, the forest, the ski slope, the slalom, and the final burst to the end. Not to mention, the best part, jumping out of Wario's nose. When I raced here for the first time, I was blown away. And really, I still am. There are 2 tracks ahead of it to come, but if it could be a 3-way tie for first, you better believe that I'd have Wario take his share of the gold. I mean, he probably mined for the gold anyway. In second place, Big Blue. Is there a better start to a race ever than hearing Big Blue's music? No, it can't be matched. The best music for any track in the game, even after 96 courses. And it's matched by an epic, blindingly quick rush through 3 sections of pure anti-gravity. From ramps and tight turns, running through rushing water, conveyor belts, and dash panels to the finish, this track is wild and best raced on 200cc. If you want to see impressive, watch the world record for this track and see how much freedom you get on this course. The only reason it doesn't hit number 1 is because it doesn't tell the best story. Finally, number 1, 3DS Rainbow Road. This one has it all. Point-to-point race, which clearly I'm a sucker for, spectacular visuals on the road, planets and the moon, and it's all about a journey. The climactic end to your Mario Kart experience. 3DS Rainbow Road celebrates everything that Mario Kart represents, paired with sufficient difficulty to be a challenge, but one you're determined to meet. I could describe everything I love about this track until the moo-moos leave the meadow, but I won't. Just race on it. Hopefully you can see just why I love it so much. And that is 96 tracks ranked. Somehow a 3DS course on top, even though I'm not particularly attached to that game. Interesting. How do my opinions match up to yours? Tell me in the comments, particularly if you also love Bone Dry Dunes. If you've made it this far, why not like and subscribe and let me know if you want to see more videos like this in the future. I'm PokerDad, see you next time.